Everybody to this session today, online webinar session with London Metropolitan University. We've got Joanna here from the institution, so she's going to be guiding you through the presentation and also answering all of your questions at the end of the session. So please feel free to put them in the chat box. Thank you so much, Joanna, for your time today. And yeah, we're ready to start whenever you are.
Sure, thank you very much. So hello everyone, welcome to the session with London Met today. Thank you very much for introducing me, and I'm going to give you a quick presentation about London Met, how we look like, what we do, what we offer to you, and then we are going to have a Q&A after the presentation where I will be able to answer, I hope, all of your questions, or at least most of them. So let's start. So the main thing about what London Met offers is that we have a work-based module included in every undergraduate degree, and that's also accredited, so it is a part of your degree. It is mandatory on undergraduate degrees, and it's not mandatory but possible on postgraduate, on most of postgraduate degrees. And we have quite a rich history. So our beginnings date back to 1848. So London Met came from merging London Guildhall University and the University of North London in 2002. And we have currently two campuses in Aldgate and in Holloway. So the one in Aldgate, it started in 1848 with evening classes for young men. And the Holloway campus started in 1896 as Northern Polytechnic Institute. So merging those two in 2002, now we have London Metropolitan University. And here you can see our Holloway Road campus. All the buildings in the picture are part of the campus there. So you can have classes in different locations. If you're studying art, design, and architecture, then and a creative type classes, you would be studying in Aldgate. All other degrees are conducted in Holloway Road. So if you're studying business, if you're studying pharmaceutical studies, bioscience, anything like that, that would be Holloway Road campus. It's very easy to get to because it's just on the opposite side of the road from Holloway Road station, from Piccadilly line. So if you know London, you know it's very, very central. So on Piccadilly line, it's just 2 stops away from King's Cross. So you're very close to all the museums, all exhibitions, all the main life in London. Here is our Aldgate campus. So this is 15 minutes walk from London Bridge, for example. So as you can see, it's fairly central. And in Aldgate, as I mentioned, you have all creative courses. The only courses you could be studying that are spread, where classes are spread between these two campuses, would be film studies and film production. Everything else, such as ceramics, design, photography, that would be taking place in the Aldgate campus. So the building is quite old, and it has very, you can feel that atmosphere of a historical building. And here you can see how we are located on the map. So as you can see, the Aldgate campus, it's in Whitechapel, very central, and Holloway Road campus, it's just slightly further north, but both of them are within the Greater London area. We also have accelerator. So this is a very important part for all the business related courses and everybody who is thinking about entrepreneurship. Accelerator means that for up to 5 years after you complete your degree, you have access to all the help you can get in terms of setting up your own business. So these people in accelerator, they help you with creating this business, with designing the business plan, in just setting up everything. And this help is absolutely for free. This is within the services that we provide to our students. We have amazing learning center. It has, I believe, 5 floors, where each floor is for different type of study, and you can have you have access to our hardware, our PCs. You can bring your own laptop if that's what you prefer. You can rent rooms where you can train for your projects, where you can work with your group on a group project, or if you need some very quiet space where nobody's going to disturb you to write an assignment or work on your dissertation, that's possible too. And we have it divided between floors on what with different levels are for different type of study. So you could have group study on level 1 and 2, and quiet study on level 3 and 4. So here is the ground floor in the learning center, and as you can see, it's fairly open, but you also have booths where you can have slightly more private space. And as we go up in the learning center, you get also more quiet space. We also offer to all of our students, as soon as you enroll, you have free access to our gym, sports halls, and dance studios. And that involves also classes, sports classes. So whether that's Zumba or yoga or HIIT classes, you can go to those classes, and they are happening throughout the day, throughout the week. So you could go during your lunch break, you could go after classes. There's always something you can find for yourself. We also have spaces to relax. So this is our courtyard in Holloway Road. So this is the space in between our buildings in Holloway Road. When it's sunny outside, it's a really pleasant place to have your lunch, have a chat, just bathe in the sun for a little bit. And as you can see, we also have little events happening there. We have world-class facilities. So you can see it's not just black and white. We do like a bit of color just to give you some more energy and help you focus on your studies. And so as you can see, we have lovely desks and new projectors, and everything is fairly new. Why you should study at London Metropolitan University? This is because most of our academics, so more than 60% of our academics, have recognized teaching qualifications, and also they are professionals. So the average in the industry is just 40%, and we are also looking to increase that to 100%. We believe that people who not only know theory but also know practice will be able to give you a better perspective on the industry and what is needed to be successful in your future career. Many of our courses are also accredited by professional bodies, giving you qualification, giving your qualification extra weight. So as I mentioned, we do have the accelerator, and also every undergraduate is guaranteed a work-based learning opportunity. So the work-based module, this could be depending on the course you're doing and how it's designed in the course portfolio. It could be either in second or third year of your study, assuming you're studying a 3-year full-time degree. And this could be taking place for half a year or a year, depending on number of hours you need to take to complete this module. And you also have your say in what you want to do exactly. So here, if you we have career services that would help you accommodating your needs and finding the right opportunity for you. With our graduates, 96.7% of them are in work or further study within 6 months, and that's as of year 2016-2017. Our alumni include Mayor of London Sadiq Khan, comedian Vic Reeves, singer Sinead O'Connor, actor Daniel Clark, and a few others. Our graduates have gone on to work for companies such as BBC, Prince Waterhouse Coopers, the Bank of England, the British Museum, and we maintain strong industry links to ensure you gain vital professional experience while you learn. We often discuss what should be taught on the courses with industry professionals to understand better their needs, because after all, we want to make sure that you are employable after you complete the course. We have 6 schools, so that's Guildhall School of Business and Law, School of Computing and Digital Media, School of Human Sciences. And as you can see, we have a range of different courses offered by each of these schools. So at Guildhall School of Business and Law, you could be learning accounting and finance, business and management, law, translation, conference interpreting, marketing, economics. For the School of Computing and Digital Media, that's computer science, digital media and communications, journalism, creative technologies. And for human sciences, that could be biosciences, sports science and therapy, pharmaceutical sciences, dietetics, food and nutrition. And the other schools are School of Social Professions, where you could study social work, education and young people, health and social care. It could be School of Social Sciences, so criminology and sociology, psychology, politics and international relations, child and women abuse studies, and our school, which is all based in Aldgate. So that's the School of Art, Architecture and Design, and that could be architecture, fine art, design, photography, fashion, jewelry, English and creative writing. And just to give you a little bit more about the schools and the subjects we offer. So in general, we offer over 200 different courses. And that means that you definitely can find something for yourself. It's enough to just have a look through our portfolio if you haven't applied yet. And for example, we offer the ACCA qualification as a part of some of our degrees. We offer for the translation studies students or for the conference interpreting, we offer partnership with EU institutions, so you could be not only learning in London, but also traveling to EU institutions and practice there and network there. And that would be very helpful in your future career. And currently we are working towards keeping these relations with these institutions even after Brexit. We offer lovely facilities that are supposed to help you with gaining confidence and feeling as you get more practical experience. So for example, we offer mock courtroom, we offer you Bloomberg room, where you have additional software and where you can practice and see how stock exchange changes. We offer you within School of Computing and Digital Media, for example, we had the first Cisco Academy in the country. We offer you film, media, games, journalism, and music courses. And as you can see, we have well-equipped rooms as well. So whether that's music production, whether that's film production, you will find that we offer you all the equipment you need. You don't have to invest additional money to meet your course needs. And our film students also screen their work at the British Film Festival on London's South Bank every year. Here you can have a look at our cybersecurity research center. So we work with, for example, with Lloyds Bank on providing banks with new security technologies to securing the bank accounts. And our students often get projects like that, and they work on these cases to get some industry insight. Here you can see what equipment we have for the TV studio and TriCaster. And School of Human Sciences. So it's our super lab, that is one of the biggest in Europe, with more than 280 workstations in one place. That was over 30 million pounds invested in that science center. So that's for biochemistry, that would be for pharmaceutical studies, that would be for food processing as well. So it's an amazing feeling when you enter one of those labs and you can see almost 300 people in lab coats working at things at the same time. So normally on these courses, you would have 1 day a week when you have assigned for specific workshops, and you go to these labs, and with your supervisors you work on specific tasks. So this is how it looks from a different angle. So I do think it's impressive. And we have also, so within the School of Social Sciences, you get accreditation, including British Psychology Society, and psychology students also have access to facilities including a lab with specialist psychological monitoring, with hardware, software, health clinic, and cameras for remote observation. What is important also is that we don't only teach psychology and mental health, but we also have services on campus. So if you, many of you could be international students who could be new to the country, who could be not exactly living in the UK yet, or you might be away from your parents, or like now we have the situation with the lockdown. If you need any help, there are student services, there are mental health services as well, who can advise you, help you to get through this difficult time. And these are, of course, at discretion, and they are free to our students. And we also have the Child and Women Abuse Studies, that is a unit that is internationally recognized for its work researching all forms of violence against women and child abuse. We have Congress at the campus. And in our School of Social Professions, you will benefit from extensive practitioner experience, from courses accredited and endorsed by the Health and Care Professions Council and the Institute of Healthcare Management, and from bespoke training for students from Youth Justice Board, Skills for Health, the Ministry of Justice, and the Social Policy Association. And again, you do get a lot of practical learning. So if you're training to become a teacher, if you're training to teach early childhood, if you're studying the early childhood studies or anything like that, you will get a lot of practice-based experience. So you will get a lot of visits to specific schools, to specific campuses. And in the School of Art, Architecture and Design, there is a strong, again, this is a very strong emphasis on practice. So you will have, often you will have very small classes. Generally, we like to have very small classes. And there are courses where, let's say, fashion photography, where academics don't even want larger classes than, let's say, 14 students. So this allows them, and this allows academics and students to work in smaller environments, smaller groups, and also have more attention and more support from the academic. So when it comes to any architecture, art, design classes, you do need constant support and access to your own workstation. So in this school, you will have, this is the one based in Allgate, you will have your own workstation, and so you can leave all your stuff at this workstation. It will be an assigned workstation to you, so you don't have to carry it every single time with you. And you also have access to those workstations in over the weekend. So you could be working on some projects, let's say Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then the other days of the week, if you feel you would like to come over and try something new, try something different, without supervision, without your classmates interrupting you, you can come to the campus and you can work on your projects. So the campus is open to you, even if there's nobody, if there's no class scheduled, and there's always somebody on campus that you can ask for help, that you can ask for advice, and every academic there is lovely. They are happy to help, and they are very invested in what they teach. So regardless whether that's chair design, whether that's jewelry, whether that's photography, there's always something very interesting you could be doing. And what is very important for future architects, we are teaching all three levels of the RIBA course. So the Royal Institute of British Architects, we have all three levels, so you could be doing the undergraduate and postgraduate qualifications, so RIBA 1, 2, and 3. And we also have always a summer show, and we also have a catwalk. So there is something called Project Red, and in the end of the year, the fashion students, they design their own creation, they design their own outfit, and it can be anything that influenced them. They have to write a report of what exactly influenced them, why they wanted to create something like that. And then they have a catwalk where they show off all their creations, and we have videos of those on YouTube from each year. And these are very interesting projects. So sometimes it's very obvious what was the biggest influence on these projects. Let's say there could be, from one of those creations, I could see that somebody must have played a lot of Assassin's Creed, because the outfit was very, very similar In some others, you could see somebody was very interested in 20s or 30s fashion. So these are very interesting projects, and it's incredible how different they could be, even though they are all made from in the same color. We also have a big idea challenge where the prize is £30,000, and this is for the best business idea. And anybody can enter. You can enter by yourself. You can enter as a group, and this is for all fields. So among winners in previous years, there were ideas related to a dance choreography. I believe there was an idea related to gastronomy as well. So it's not only for business per se, it's for any type of business. So you can enter this big idea challenge. You tell exactly what your idea is about, and you could win £30,000 for your startup. And this is how it looks like. So there is a big presentation, and you can vote for it too. Now, I'm sure everybody's interested in how September is going to look like. So what we like is, since we are... I'm sorry, I think I can hear someone. If you can wait with your questions to the end, I will be done in just a few minutes, and then I will answer them. So in regards to September, currently we are still recruiting for the fall intake. What we did was, to allow you a little bit more time, we pushed our start date to 5th of October. So the induction week will be on the 5th of October, and the teaching will start on the 12th of October. However, so our teaching, we want it to be as face-to-face, as practical as possible. At the same time, we want you to be safe, and we want to make sure that our academics are safe as well. So there's a range of measures we are going to have in place to ensure the safety. So there will be additional breaks to cleaning for cleaning rooms, for cleaning workstations, but also we will have blended learning starting in October. So that means that some of your classes, if you decide to arrive to London, if you're not in the UK yet, if you decide to arrive to London and you want to go to campus and study on campus, there will be an option for that, and there will be every measure put to make sure that you're safe on campus. There will be additional stations for washing your hands, for antibacterial. We will encourage wearing masks as well, but it will not be 100% face-to-face teaching. It will be mostly blended learning. So some of the courses, teaching will take place online. We are still talking about how it's going to be exactly, and of course we will be taking under consideration the government advice, but it will definitely take place. We will definitely start in October, so we encourage you to submit your applications, to arrive and study with us. If you decide that October is still too early and you're not sure whether you want to join, or you're not very happy about blended learning, then we also have a January intake. So you could start in January, when hopefully this situation will settle, and most of our courses take place in January, start in January as well. And with the January intake, when you start in January, let's say 2021, you finish your year one by September, and then in the end of September 2021, you will start year two. So you're not losing any time, you're not losing a year. you are just postponing your education slightly. With the English language qualifications, we currently accept also the TOEFL online, the home edition, and IELTS indicator. If you have any issues with that, or if you are a student who doesn't need a visa, we also can offer you an internal test. So if you have any questions about that, you can email us and I can give you all the information I have about that. And also, if you think at the moment that you want to start in September, but with time you decide, well, in October, and then with time you decide October is still too early for you, that's not an issue at all. You can just defer your place to January, and we don't charge you anything extra for that. So that's perfectly fine. As I mentioned before, what is the most important for us is that you're safe and you feel like you're safe too. So we also offer that student support. So all our services will be available to you online, and that will be services such as mental health services, career services, personal tutoring, and all the library resources are also online anyway. And we will also create spaces for you so that you can meet your fellow students on the same course and from other courses online, so you don't have to spend that much time face to face. I know that for most of people, it's the face to face option is more appealing, but we will try to accommodate your needs and in mind with government rules as much as possible. So this is our email address. If you have any questions that we can't answer today, or if you don't think of any questions right now, you can always email me at this email address. And if you have any questions now, I'm happy to answer them.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Joanna, for this really helpful session. Please feel free to post any questions in the chat box. I'm just going to start going over some of the questions that we've already got. So just starting from the very top, thanks to everyone who kind of introduced themselves. We have Eliza, who says who wants to do business studies, Felicity, also interested in business, and Moses, who wants to do a postgraduate degree in the UK. So the first question we've got today is from Dia about the UCAS deadline. So she says, I missed the UCAS deadline. Can I still apply for an art and design BA course?
Yes, absolutely. So you can submit your application. We have clearing in the UK, so it has already started. So what you need to do now is to just submit your application, and as soon as you get an email from us, which is normally after 2 weeks, but now it could be faster. After you receive an email from us, we will ask you to upload your portfolio and any documents that might be relevant for your application. And after you upload your portfolio, our academics will have a look at it, and they will decide whether they can invite you for an interview. And if they believe you are meeting the entry criteria, they will invite you to an interview, and they will offer you a place after that. So yes, it's not too late. Definitely submit your application and see what happens. And as I said, our start date has been postponed. So that means even I don't know if you are UK based, if you're European, or if you need a visa, but this should give you enough time to sort out everything you need to start studying in October. And also, one more thing I forgot to add: if some of you don't feel safe coming to the UK and you are happy with studying online, you will have this option as well. So you can start studying online only in October, and then as soon as regulations change and lockdown is completely removed and the government says it's safe, you can arrive on campus. So you can start your semester one, for example, so your semester one completely online from your home country, if you're not in the UK, and then arrive for semester two to continue face-to-face. So yes, this is just another option for you. So it's something to think about too.
Brilliant. Thank you for that detailed response. And I think, yeah, I'm glad you covered that section about students starting on a hybrid model in September, because I think a lot of students are wondering about how the whole online situation and studying is going to go. The next question we've got is from Feli. The question is, how much does it cost for an ACCA certification?
I'm not sure at the moment. I would have to look it up for you. As you can imagine, with so many different courses, it's almost impossible for me to remember all the pricing. But if you don't mind, if you can send me an email, I'm going to check everything for you. I would only need the information whether you're EU student or whether you're an international student, and I will give you precise information on that. I hope that helps.
Perfect. Yes, so Feli, you've got Joanna's email address. If Joanna, if you want to maybe pop it in the chat box as well. So then Feli, if you just send her an email, or if you send us a UK email, we can always pass it on to Joanna. The next question we've got is from Ayman, but I'll just wait a second before we get to that. So the next question we've got is from Ayman, who's asking for their brother. So he says, hi, my brother has an offer for the September intake, but waiting to meet IELTS requirements. Should he wait until the IELTS test centers open, or can the university make any exemptions?
So we can't make an exemption to give you an unconditional offer. And this is also, I don't know if you're EU or not, but this also applies to EU to international students who need visas. So we need to make sure that you are meeting all the conditions before we can proceed. And if you're, I don't know when your brother is supposed to take the exam, if you can pop it in the chat, whether he needs a visa or not, and when he is supposed to take the exam, because now if there is a long wait for his IELTS exam, I would suggest taking the exam online. They are available in 87 countries right now, so it's highly probable he can do it online and just will give us online results, and that will really speed it up. And these tests are also slightly cheaper. I believe the academic IELTS face-to-face right now is about £200, and the online IELTS is about £145, something like that. So it's also a bit of savings too.
Yeah, definitely. And the IELTS centers are being very flexible, and there's like online and alternate English tests that a lot of universities are accepting. So yeah, I'm sure London Met is also being very flexible with these things. So it's never too late to apply.
Yes.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, Joanne.
Yes, it's just the visa regulations. It's something that we don't have control over it. So there are certain requirements we need to meet as a university. So we are trying to be as flexible as possible. As you said, I think most universities are trying to do the same, just to accommodate everyone. But I would say, because I can see you already answered, and that your brother was supposed to take it 2 months ago. Yeah, I would just suggest tell your brother to do it online, because then he can do it faster, cheaper, and he will have results sooner than that.
Brilliant. We've got a kind of follow-up question from Feli, again about the ACCA. So the first question was about the price. Now they're asking about if there are any IELTS requirements to get an ACCA.
So yes, we generally ask for all our courses. The minimum is 6.0 for IELTS, with not less than 5.5 for each element of IELTS. If that's about TOEFL, that's overall 72 score. But if you have any other qualifications, if you studied in a majority English-speaking country, if you have, depending on your qualifications, sometimes we might not require it. So I would suggest submit your application, and then our admissions will review your application and tell you what exactly they need from you if you're unsure. I can also give you this information sooner, but if you're not sure, this is an option. Also, what is very important, if you can pop us the information whether you're EU based or not. If you don't need a visa, we can offer you our own online tests, and with that online test, it doesn't cost you anything. You do it from home. You're just supervised online by one of our admissions coordinators, and that can speed up your process. And as I said, it doesn't cost you anything.
Perfect. That's really helpful. So I'm just going to say to everybody, if you've got any questions, we're still live for another 10-15 minutes. So yeah, please feel free to pop them in the chat box. We've got a question about the different intakes, actually. So the question goes, do we not get any summer holidays if we choose a January intake?
So you don't get full summer holidays because you're catching up, and you already had a lot of holidays from September to January, hopefully, if you didn't work. You do get some holidays, you do get a break that's 2 or 3 weeks. So there is a short break if you need to go visit your family, if you just need to take a breather, that's fine. But you wouldn't get those long holidays as normally students get when they start in September. I hope that helps.
Brilliant. So I was wondering, with the undergraduate, anyone who's starting the undergraduate program, this is just kind of a follow-up question on my end. Do they start at the same time as they did in previous years, or is it a bit delayed this year?
So, but do you mean on the second year of undergraduate or on the first one?
Yeah, for second year students.
So everyone?
Well, I guess both, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this year, the campus will reopen on the 5th of October. So everybody starts in October. So if somebody started last January, they will now have extra 2 weeks of time off, and that will be just caught up during the year. If somebody is going to start in the January intake, which means they would start their classes in the beginning of February, they will not get the full holiday over summer. They will join for year 2 our September intake. If they start foundation course, the same thing applies. So if you start foundation in January 2021, that means you will push through the summer holiday and you will join on year 1 in September. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it does. So it's not going to impact really anyone in their second year, I guess.
No, that's why. No, it doesn't. So second year you just start. So regardless of when you started your year 1, whether that's September or January, you are still going to start your year 2 in September. And this just generally applies to any of our courses. One very important thing is make sure the course you're interested in it does start in January, because most of our popular courses, they do start in January anyway. We have slightly extended this list of courses starting in January this year due to circumstances. But if you're unsure, if your chosen course is not listed on for January start, please email me and I will have a look at it for you, and I will confirm for you whether your chosen course also starts in January.
Perfect. Thanks so much for that, Joanna. And the other thing I was going to ask is, we've got the September intake, the January intake. Are there any other intakes for London Metropolitan apart from these two?
No, we only have those two. So September, or this year, October, September and January.
Okay. And for EU students, because I know you mentioned EU students a couple of times, the way we are kind of hearing the government regulations is that this is kind of their last chance to get funding in this September. Do you know if that applies to January as well?
Yes, so the government advice says that the Student Finance England funding applies for this academic year.
Okay.
So that means that January intake is also involved, and from the meeting with the British Council I had this or last week, they mentioned that anybody who is starting their degrees after 1st of July 2021, they definitely are not eligible for Student Finance England loans. And also for those interested in the post-study work visas that are going to soon be taking place, anybody who arrives, according to the information that there is on the government's website and let's say UKISA website, anybody who arrives to the country before 6th of April and they do their last semester of education in the UK, they are eligible for the visa. Make sure that you read those regulations though, because they can still change. But from what I hear is, even if you do, for those who are thinking about, let's say, masters in the UK and they don't know if through studying online first semester and then only doing face-to-face semester 2 in the UK, whether they are going to be eligible, this means that you would be eligible as long as you arrive in the UK before the 6th of April 2021.
That's really helpful. I think that's a question a lot of students have been asking us lately since the government regulations have come out. We've got another question about scholarships. So the question is, please tell us about scholarships and if they are still available.
Okay, so I'd say it's a bit late for the October start for scholarships. If you're applying for January, you might still be eligible for some scholarships. With scholarships, you normally have to apply early. So we have a few different scholarships. So we have the International Excellence Scholarships, which is £2,500. We have the School of Art and Design, Art, Architecture and Design scholarship, which is £3,000. And we are also a part of the International Student House London, which covers your full accommodation while studying in the UK, in London exactly. And we are also part of the Chevening Scholarship too. But some of our home scholarships, so the first two I mentioned, their deadline was 1st of May. The other two, their deadline, I believe, was 1st of July. So unfortunately, it's a bit too late. If you have any specific circumstances, let's say if you're the only carer for your parent or for somebody disabled in your family, you might be eligible for some other funding. But these scholarships now are available for the January intake. So if you're thinking about starting in January, you can still apply for those. And I believe deadline is mid-November now.
Amazing. No, thanks so much for the detailed information, and that's really helpful since you gave them like a timeline of the deadlines and things like that as well. We've got, I'm not really sure it's a comment or a question, but we've got a thing about biomedical courses. So I think it's a question if, do you offer any biomedical courses, and if it's...
So we don't offer medicine per se, so we don't train doctors, but we do have pharmaceutical studies. We do have human health, so we do have, let's say, mental health, psychology. We do have coaching or sports courses, but we don't have we couldn't train you to become a general practitioner, for example. So we do have everything that surrounds this area, but we wouldn't train doctors.
Perfect. So we've got a follow-up question on that from Bolu Watife, is asking if there's any scholarships available for any of the health courses that you mentioned.
So we have this international excellence scholarship. It applies to any of our courses. So whatever you decide to study, we just care about whether you have an offer, whether you have accepted this offer, and based on your essay, so you basically write a personal statement saying, this is why I should be awarded the scholarship. This is why I would add value to the university. This is why, this is a list of my achievements and how this is going to make me the best candidate for the scholarship. So you just write an essay. You make sure that you need to make sure that you meet all the criteria, and you might be eligible for the scholarship. It doesn't matter what you study.
Perfect. Yes, it's like a blanket scholarship that applies to any course, basically.
Yes.
Yes. And then we've got a question from Ayman who says, when will the uni start issuing CAS?
So normally CAS cannot be issued, well, so the visa cannot be issued sooner than 3 months before your course start date. So currently, this is, as we are starting on the 5th of October, from the 5th of July, technically, you could already apply for a visa, and we also withhold issuing CASs sooner than that, because students often forget about these dates, and if you submit your visa application too early, it could be just rejected. So we don't want you to waste your time, money, and we don't want to cause you stress. So right now we are still discussing what's the best approach to make sure that we give you the full support with the visa as well. So our immigration department said that they will be shortly informing all our CAS students about how to proceed. So we are well aware. We should be assisting you with that, and our immigration unit, they do have that in mind, and they are just making sure that what we do with all those adjustments we had to have in place, that we do provide you with the full support we can. So this information will be sent to you soon, very soon. But I just can't give you a precise date yet.
Yeah, no worries at all. I just want to say to any students, obviously we are still here for another 5 minutes. So please feel free to kind of post any follow-up or last minute questions in the chat box. I've got a question from Helen. It's quite a specific one. So she's asking, could you please advise me regarding my status, whether she can study as a home or an international student? So she's lived in Scotland for 2 years and has lived in the EU since 2007. And is a non-EU national.
So, Helen, make sure you have the resident permit. If you have the settled status in the UK, or in your case, you mentioned you lived in the EU before you lived in Scotland. Depending on where you lived, if you have the settled status or pre-settled status, that differs. But if you had settled status, then you should be automatically applying for the home fees. If you lived in the EU since 2007, I do believe you should be eligible for the home fees, and I do think you should be eligible for the Student Finance England loan too. But if you have any questions, if you're unsure of that and you want a definite answer, there are 2 ways of finding out the fees. So you can either submit your application, and as you receive an offer from us, admissions will outline exactly how much you should be paying. If you don't want to submit an application, and if you just want to know how much you would need to pay, I'm writing right now an email address for fee assessment unit, so they can, based on information you provide, and if you have a resident permit and a settled status, make sure that you attach that to the email you send, and they will provide you with exact information. So that's the email is, I'm just popping it in the chat. So the email is feeassessment@londonmet.ac.uk. Yeah, so I hope that helps. So I'm going to just repeat my own email address. So that's international@londonmet.ac.uk. So any questions about any course, even if I don't know it, I'm going to find you somebody who does know the answer and somebody who can assist you with that. Normally we reply within 24 hours to all queries, and especially now, since it's very since the start of the academic year is very close, we are trying to make sure we provide you with accurate information as soon as we can to support you.
Brilliant. Thanks for sharing all those email addresses, Joanna. I'm just going to put in another generic one. So this is just for like absolute any blanket generic queries. I've just put in the info@study-uk-email.com. So yeah, feel free to email the university directly or email us, and we can help you out. So another question from Mosey says, I'm doing an undergraduate degree in India. What PG courses are available there? I think that's a very broad question. There's a whole array of PG courses that London Met offers. So if you can give us a sense, Mosey, and just make sure you click on everyone when you put the question in. Just let us know what subject or just kind of the ballpark subject you're interested in, then we can tell you a little bit more about those courses.
Or even what you're studying right now, because if you're interested in a postgraduate, I assume you're doing something specific for your undergraduate. So whether that's business, architecture, anything like that, just let us know what you're studying right now, and we can also help you out with the postgraduate courses.
So yes, they've responded saying in biomedical.
In biomedical. There is a range of different courses you could be doing, and I would, to be fair, the best thing I could suggest you is just going to our website and browsing through our courses. Just go there. There is a search, the search glass, and type in there courses or medicine and see what comes up, because there is a wide range of courses, and depending on what you're interested in, you could find something for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. And a final note from me is basically that there's a full recording of this seminar on YouTube, and I'm just putting the link in the chat box. So if you want to go back, especially kind of review the presentation that we had earlier with Joanna, because I know that she covered a big chunk there, so you can always kind of go back and review some of that stuff. But yeah, thank you so much, Joanna, for your time today. It was a really interactive session, and thanks to all of the students who posted questions here.
Yes, well, thank you very much for having me. I hope many of you who attended today learned something, and I hope some of you are going to apply, and I hope I can see you in October, even if it's only social distancing. But believe me, all of us are very eager to get back on campus, and especially because we have been working from home in the UK for ages now. So hope to see you guys soon, and have a lovely evening.
Yes, have a lovely evening. Thanks, everybody. Take care. All right, bye.
Thanks, bye.